Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have another new addition to this fight card. We have Jacobe Smith stepping up on short notice to take on Preston Parsons. Preston was already on this card. He lost his opponent, and Jacobe is making his official UFC debut. He is undefeated in his career, and as I mentioned, stepping up on short notice. He's taking on Preston Parsons, 11-5 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. We'll start on the Jacobe side. He's the newer addition here. He is a Dana White Contender Series standout. He's getting his official UFC shot here. He's a nasty wrestler who can strike. His striking's not great technique-wise, but it's very fast, and he has some very real power. When he gets the takedowns, he's got great pressure, great hips. He's always working. He sets a really good pace. He's always looking for a finish, either on the feet or on the ground. He's a well-rounded guy, but very early in his career, and we haven't really seen him in any adversity-type situations just yet. Taking on Preston Parsons. Very slick grappler. He has 9 submissions and 11 wins. He's a BJJ black belt who moves forward aggressively, throwing big shots to set up takedowns. While he is a dangerous grappler, he can be a bit clueless when he can't get the grappling going. Historically, he has been takedown or bust. In his last fight I've mentioned before, he managed to do both. He got a takedown and still lost. Breaking down prospects like Jacobe is always a little tricky because he obviously looks like a stud. And I'm going to pick him here. I think he gets it done, right? He's got power in his hands. He's got good wrestling. As long as the submission defense is there, he should be good. But all we have is to go off the destruction of regional guys. So I don't know what it's going to look like when he fights somebody like Preston. Preston's a very good fighter. Preston's a UFC-level fighter. He has proven that he can compete in the UFC. Jacobe hasn't quite proven that yet. So I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what's going to happen if Preston gets Jacobe in trouble, if this somehow goes long, because we've never seen Jacobe in trouble. With all of that being said, I think Jacobe gets the takedowns, bombs away, makes it happen. I think he absolutely wins this fight. I think there's upside for a decision with a bunch of takedowns. I think there's finish upside. People are going to question Jacobe's cardio. Like, oh, he seemed to slow down in the Contender Series. So what? So what? He still won that fight. He seemed to slow down. You're just looking for things to be worried about. I think Jacobe Smith gets it done here. He's the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, well, he didn't seem to slow down. I mean, he definitely was slowing down. He was definitely flat-footed to start that second round, and those takedowns a little bit more sloppy, definitely, than they were. But it's come to expected, right? You're not going to be as crisp as you were in the first round, especially with the pace that he sets, because he is fucking nonstop. I mean, he is going to be on you no matter what you try to do. If you're trying to scramble, whatever it is. But to me, that's what Preston Parsons has to do, because if you, against a guy like Jacobe, who is an unbelievably high-level wrestler and does some stuff in there that I've never seen. I mean, that little takedown, kick the knee in, that was fucking insane if you didn't see his Contender Series fight. Some of the takedowns as well, but he is very high-level, but, when you're in there with somebody like that, you can't just be on your back, and you can't just stall against the fence, because this isn't a control wrestler, right? We mentioned Jason Derulo early in their card. He's kind of a grindy, Khabib type of wrestler, where Jacobe Smith is going to be, he's trying to elbow you. Even his Contender Series fight, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. He literally put a gash directly in the back of the head of a guy. Elbowed him directly in the back of the head, and there's not even a point. It's like, if you're gashing, that should be a point. Like, it's very clear that that was very legal, right? Yeah, literally, a gash started bleeding, and I think Paul Felder was like, his head's bleeding. Like, it was clearly in the back of the head, but it was just like, don't do it again. But the point is, he is a ground and pound type of guy. He is going to be elbowing you any chance you get. So if you're Preston Parsons, you're probably going to get taken down. You shouldn't feel bad about it. This guy's a very high-level wrestler, but you have to make this guy work. Because if you make these wrestlers work, especially short notice, when you already saw him kind of get a little bit slowed down to start the second round of a round that he basically, he was a little bit of getting back up and takedowns, but he controlled a lot of that round. You have to make this guy work, and you have to trust that your cardio, being ready for this fight, he was already preparing for like a very grindy type guy. You have to trust your cardio. So if you get taken down to the first round, you got to be scramble, scramble, scramble. This guy's not really a submission threat. He's more of a ground and pound, so you can take chances in the scramble, give up your neck, give up some positions that you normally wouldn't. Have to make this guy work and hope that you can get to the second round. And if this does get to the second round and Preston Parsons isn't like beat up with elbows and stuff, I think Preston Parsons is going to dog this shit out. No matter how that first round looks, maybe he's taken down 6, 7 times. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. If he doesn't really take a bunch of damage, he gets that second round. I think he can start out scrambling Jacobe Smith with his gas tank, and he obviously knows how to grapple as well. And then if there's a situation where you have a tired wrestler in there that doesn't really have a backup plan, that's like worst case scenario, especially against a guy that is a high-level grappler as well. So if there's a situation where he starts gassing and Preston gets on him, gets a body lock on him, whoo! Bad news. I'm going with a little bit of a flyer here. Disclaimer, he was going to be my lock of the week versus Gustafson. I like Preston Parsons, but I'm going to pick him. I think he can dog this shit out second and third round if he can get there, and I think he can get there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's definitely the more experienced of the two.
He's a better striker, too. Not that I don't think it matters. I think
technique-wise, yeah. Jacoby's got insane speed and power, but yeah,
he doesn't have insane. I mean, he just throws heavy shots like a wrestler against regional guys.
And they're fast and powerful.
They're not that fast. It's kind of telegraphed.
They're very fast. See? So fast.
Did you see, I actually had my cut. If we could actually, let's go back to the first breakdown. We got to redo this. It was on backwards.
Fucking moron, dude. Well, or you could just take it off and wear regular clothes.
I saw the tag and I was like, is there like a face on the other side? But it's like a little glare.
Are you going to wear some dumb shit to the Apex on Saturday? If you guys didn't watch the opening of this video, we will be there in person. I think I'm just going to wear a Hayabusa hoodie and a Young LA hat. You got to rep the brand. So I'm not dressing to impress.
I think they have a little travel bag for that blow-up costume. Dude, imagine, because where we this fight, the last time I went to not the last time Apex fight, but Amanda in her last fight against Rose was the A side. So the A side is the only side that comes out like the Contender Series, those big double doors they open up or wherever they start walking down the whatever. The A side of the main event's the only people that come out of it. Everyone else comes out where you can just stand, like literally from me to you. Well, I guess I can, what I'm talking about. But, I mean, you can just stand right there and they all come out. So imagine Amanda comes out getting ready. I just fucking come the fucking thing. And she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Amanda! And this fucking blow-up fucking costume. Oh, God.
Well, and then also one time you went, security was like, should we let him in? He might be Amanda's stalker.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard that story, do you want me to tell that story right now?
Go for it. We got time, man.
If you guys didn't know, I was able to, after I went to the Apex, I met Amanda for the second time or whatever, and then I reached out. I was like, do you want to do an interview sometime? She was like, yeah. So I did an interview with Amanda, and after the interview was over, she said, I have to tell you something. When I got to Vegas for my fight with Rose, there was somebody was saying that they were an Apex employee or something, and that they were there to marry her. I can't remember what she said. So it was definitely like a stalker type situation that they were worried about. So they assigned her like a 24-hour detail, like just in case, like this guy is like fucking weird or whatever. And when I showed up at the Apex with a shirt of her, with the shirt of her on, they fucking thought I was the stalker. And I'm pretty sure what she said is I think they took a picture of me and went into the back where she was and showed her and was like, is this the guy or is this guy good or whatever? And she's like, no, you can let him. That's not the stalker. That's the second stalker,
Yeah.
So I literally was flagged by security because they thought I was Amanda's stalker when I went to
that
the
ridiculous
Apex.
shirt. I mean, it is something a stalker would do.
Yeah.
There's two types: the one that killed Selena, or like the quiet in the shadows kind.
I don't know those references, but
you don't know the Selena story?
I don't know any of those references, but
she's a famous Mexican singer.
And Amanda, by the way, thought it was the funniest shit in the world that they thought I was the stalker.
Yeah, it is funny.
She was dying laughing when she told me that. I was like, they thought I was. I go. They thought I was the stalker, and she was like, yeah.
That's funny. Well, Selena, very quickly, is there's a movie that Jennifer Lopez was in called Selena. She was a huge Mexican superstar singer, and the head of her fan club killed her. So like her biggest fan turned on her and killed her. Almost like that dude in here that's furious at my breakdown of Siri Saidi months later that said, I ripped up all my WWP stuff. I was the biggest fan in the world until Angelo apologizes about what he said about Siri Saidi.
Stan.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Angelo said Angelo's breakdown of Siri Saidi was different than what I think of Siri Saidi. I now hate him. Months later, bringing it up in a live chat. Some people's brains